fantastic. Give them a big round of applause. Take a seat if you like. Oh, look at all those phones. Everybody taking your picture. Is this the same all over the world for you?
I'm gonna stay absolutely and take pictures because it's not fair. The people in the back, they cannot see right now.
What is it like dealing with your level of fame, traveling all over the world? What's it like for you?
Well, I don't know. It's like I feel like a normal guy. I'm very close to people. I feel like I don't feel like a movie star really. And being this way, I think it's very cool. So I can relate to all of you. And I'm a kid from the street. My father was and my mother, they own a flower shop when I was young. So I came from a very wealthy family, like a normal family, and I was raised normal. I did martial arts, normal, and normal friends. So we're all normal people, and that's it.
What was behind the decision then to move to America when you were so young?
It's a long story, but I was trying to prove to my friends and parents I was not such a gifted kid in terms of physicality. I was not a strong boy. I was kind of I was bullied at school, you know. I was that small, skinny kid, and my father saw, wow, he's kind of a not a loser, but like I need to do something right? And one day he saw that TV show called Kung Fu with Indian television, right? And he decided to bring me to martial art. And at the age of 9, I started martial art, and I was dreaming of becoming one of those Marvel guys like Spider-Man, Batman. And in fact, before my father owned a flower shop, he owned a library. And I was crazy about those comic books. I was reading comic books and I saw all the position of the guys. He's okay with the sound, something wrong with the sound, maybe not too close. And then I saw all those figurines and the shape of the body, the muscle, the chest, the back. And I wanted to become one of those guys. So it's a combination of comic books, became real, martial arts, the philosophy and the respect to the master, to the elders. And then I said I can do more than that. Then I opened a gymnasium in Belgium, and I started to make more money than Papa and Mama. So they came and they moved to the gym to help me, and they sold the flower shop. And then after a couple of years, then I started to do some competition, and then some no, you know I'm for real, you know. Yeah, it's like it's fast, and I didn't warm up. So then I did some competition in Belgium, and after karate, I started to do a lot of weights in my category. I'm not a heavyweight, but so I became Mr. Belgium, and then I said, I can do better than that, and I moved to America. And I sold my gym, and I put my money into a bank account, and I took $3,000, because if you cannot make with 3,000, if you cannot make with 3,000, you cannot make with 20,000, right? So I put that money in my pocket, and I left in the US, and I started to hustle. And I finally made it. I was lucky also. I came in the right time and at the right place because Bruce Lee died. Chuck Norris became not older, but he started to retire. And then it was like an empty spot. It was Michael Dudikoff at that time. He did those ninja movies. And then they gave me Bloodsport. It's a long story, but I came at the right time, at the right place. So you need some luck in life, and it was my destiny. Hold on 1 second. It's hard.
It's very high there. Those shirts always came off very
Yes.
quickly and very easily in your movies, didn't they? Those shirts came off very quickly.
Yeah, you know, when I did Bloodsport, people thought I was a guy who was like 6'2", 6'3", and I was so, I don't care anymore, but at that time I was very careful. My casting was made of guys not too tall, and since I've got small hands and small feet, I look like very big on the screen, but in fact I'm not that big. I'm like, you know, when I see my bodyguards, come here guys.
This is big.
I mean, that's big. Come here for a second.
No, you're right, this is big.
That's a big Scottish boy. Here. That's big. And that's small. Whoa.
Never leave him hanging. Never leave him hanging.
Great guys, they are protecting me well. Good people.
Those fight scenes you mentioned there, like in Bloodsport, Kickboxer, they are so intense.
Yeah.
They must have been so difficult physically for you to do, because it's not just like you do it in one take, is it? You must have taken hours filming these scenes.
To be honest, and the final fight between me and Mr. Bolo took half a day, because it was a very low budget movie. They didn't spend much money, and I did so much martial arts all my life. That was the easy part. When I received the script Bloodsport, that's the song. Yeah, I get to see here. When I received the script Bloodsport, it's like almost like you know, I've done. I started at 9 years old. I'm now 59 soon on October 18, right? And it's like if somebody's telling you, okay, we have a script called Bloodsport, right? Go to the gym for 20 years, okay, and come back to me and you'll do this movie. So without knowing, I received the perfect fitting script for the person I was. And that's why Bloodsport was such a success. Plus, it was a good story. And all the fighters in the movie were great people. It was like, thank you, beautiful. Thank you, sir. And it was like, it
beautiful
was a great
portraits
movie.
on the front there. Just in the interest so everybody can hear you, if we can keep it nice and close to the mouth.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, just that the people at the back want to hear you, it's fantastic. Can you talk to me about the hard times before you got your break in America? Because I've seen you in interviews saying that you know, you found it very, very hard just to get by, just to get the food to get by.
Yeah, it was not so easy, but I received a lot of love from my parents and my friends, and something great. I never forgot what my father told me, because he said, you know, you're gonna go to America, you don't have a passport, you don't have a green card, you don't speak English, it's gonna finish badly. Plus, you have a great gym, you are making a lot of money. So for him, it was a complete disaster, because that gym was pumping a lot of money. At that time, I was making between $3,000 to $4,000 a week. And we talked about years and years ago, like more than 20 years ago. So when I left the gym, I was it was a fiasco. It was a big fight between me and my father. Plus he gave up his flower shop. But he was able to retire very young, which is cool, really. And he said to me, okay, if you don't succeed, when you'll come back, in case if you don't succeed, you will always have a bed home. You can always come back and have a place for life. Because at that time, my father was able to buy a roof. So when you have a kid, and he's got a dream, and if you tell your kid, look, if you don't succeed in life, you always can come back and have a place to stay. That made me feel very secure, to have a strong family. I know some people, some children, they don't have a strong or a solid family, and I'm sorry for that. But it's good to know that when you go somewhere, always to have a plan B. Before the plan A, you have to create a plan B. Yeah.
Have you become more philosophical with time, or were you always this way?
With time, you're becoming more mature, and you start to know more about life. But I was always a thinker, and thinking is good because when you think, you start to build in your head and your mind all different types of scenarios, and I think it's very good to think. I didn't have much education. That was, in a sense, my luck. I left school early, and I want to work early. I was selling some flowers, you know, the leftover when my father, he was selling flowers, but at night I did have a friend who was 17. He was able to have he was able to drive. He did have a driver license. And me, I was that cute boy, you know, at the age of 14, 13, I did go to those restaurants. And at that time in Belgium, the economy was very good. So all the restaurants were full, and I took a basket of flowers from the car. Hey sir, do you want to buy some flowers? You know, and they say no to me. I look at them like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And I played that cute kid, so they were buying lots of flowers. When the basket was empty, came back to the car, put more flowers, and I made lots of cash, right? So I always like to work and make money. But I was missing the education of school. So when I became famous with martial arts and Hollywood, and then my ups and downs, I didn't have enough at one time, and I left for Hong Kong. So right now I'm living in Hong Kong, and I was living in Hong Kong for more than 10 years, right? And I started to study YouTube. I became crazy about YouTube. So I started to sponge everything on YouTube, and I became educated from YouTube, which means the education of today, which is a much more advanced education than at the time of school. You were learning different stuff, you know? So I learned after, and I became successful before.
It's great that you're still trying to better yourself with every year that goes by. Just tell me about, is it true that you got your break with the boss of Canon Films in a restaurant? You collared him in a restaurant?
Yeah, I did that type of kick. You know, like when I met Menahem, I kicked like that above his head.
So the boss of Canon Films?
Yes, he saw that, and he gave me a start. And you know what upset me all the time? I tried always to do my best and to be I'm kind of a perfectionist, and you're all looking at me, and I don't know if I'm saying enough right, and I start to sweat. I'm always sweating because I try to do my best. Hey man, how are you?
He's doing well, isn't he? Come on, let's give him some encouragement. He's doing well. You're hanging on his every word.
I'm sorry about that. It's just like,
no, you're doing
I'm very emotional and very super sensitive, and I feel the love from you guys, so that's why I'm sweating that much. Can I have a tissue paper?
I think they were shouting out because they wanted you to launch another kick at me.
I'm equipped.
That's what it was.
I'm equipped.
It is wonderful to have him in the building and to be speaking so openly to everybody as well. We're going to move on to his films as well. Just hands up, who's got questions for him, just so that we know. We're going to come to this very, very shortly. We're going to give it another couple of minutes, and then we'll come to you. So be ready with your questions.
See, I know myself.
But your smaller break was your smaller break, not your big break, but your smaller break was in a breakdancing film as well. Is that your wheelhouse? Is that something that you like?
It was kind of it's kind of shitty because I have a friend called Mohamed Kisi, and Momo
in the building today.
Yeah, who was a Tongpo and kickboxer. We cut his hair. We put like a prosthetic on him and a ponytail. And the first time they asked me about Mohamed, I said, "Where's Tongpo?" I said, "Oh, Tongpo lives far in the mountain of Asia, unreachable," you know, to a newspaper guy called Mike Leader. Anyway, back to the question.
breakdancing movie. Can you do breakdancing?
When I did breakdance, you know, where like the two stars were dancing, and we knew where the camera was. And every time the camera was in front of me, Momo pushed those people away, and he go jump. So I jumped, did all the split, and they cut me away because it was too much. Right?
Too good.
It was not too good, but I was trying to steal the show, you know. Every time the camera was in front of me, I go, hey! They go, F this guy, you know, let's cut him away. So.
Is it true, just when you're saying about things that end up on the cutting room floor, is it true that when you saw, was it Bloodsport, the first cut of that, you were very unhappy with that?
Yes, because I was doing a movie in Asia, and Sheldon Lettish, who wrote Bloodsport with other guys, but he wrote mainly the script. He saw the first cut, and I know martial arts, I know my move, and we shot everything one shot, which means when I kick like I did, was a full kick, but what they did in the editing room, they start the kicking, they cut to a close-up, like, you know, and back to my position of the ending position. So they destroyed the movie. The movie was butchered in the editing. So Sheldon called me in Thailand, and he go, hey JC, you better to come back. I say, what happened? People are laughing at your film. They think it's a piece of shit. I go, oh no, my God. So I flew back to America, and I asked Menachem, please, Menachem, can I please go into the editing room and try my best to recut that movie? I insist a lot, and he let me cut nighttime, because daytime, when I came back from Thailand, kickboxing was not yet in the theater. Daytime I was driving limousine, and nighttime I recut Bloodsport.
You were a limo driver during the day and then editing a big movie at night?
At night, not a big movie at that time, was like, and then I want to change angle.
That's good. So now you can all see.
50-50 on the angle. And then, and then the movie came out, and Menachem never saw the new cut, and the movie did fantastic. Then he stopped the release on VHS, because at that time it was not VOD, it was like VHS, the cassette. And he tried the West Coast. We did 9,000 per screen, which is a lot, you know, a ticket, $9,000 per screen. And it was like a huge success, and that's when Jean-Claude Van Damme started to become famous, yeah.
It's interesting because you mentioned about having to go back and do a re-edit. You've got somebody filming this at the back of the room. When they edit this, you've just ruined the continuity.
Yes, yes. I mean, I know if they have the cross, it's okay.
Yes, it'll be, yes.
You can shut the cross, yeah. But when you do an action movie, what happened? Normally you have like one camera here, one camera there, one here. You can have some close-ups or medium shot. Yeah. And what they do, they can cut the fat. You know, it's like if I do something and I take too much time here, they will cut the fat here, then we'll take it back there, so they can accelerate the process. In Bloodsport was different because we shot everything wide angle.
Just interesting there, seeing somebody asking you, giving you a request to perform. You don't seem to tire of that. I don't think you've ever tired of that. You were on the plane coming over here, yes, doing high kicks, right?
Yes. But the face, but I have a good energy. I mean, that's, I guess it's the DNA. I've got good DNA, and but I ate a lot this morning. Scottish food.
I wish I looked that good after eating a lot in the morning.
It was a big breakfast, man. Beans, eggs, bacon. Not so good for your heart, but I ate a lot, and also I didn't sleep much. So, but I'm so excited to be here, and you know, the crowd, they're giving you lots of energy, so I feel like...
Well, shall we hear from them? Shall we hear from some of the crowd? Everybody put your hands up if you've got a question, and we'll try and get a microphone to you. We're going to start bringing this around for you now. Hopefully somebody's going to bring a microphone. Okay. I think actually Jean-Claude has other engagements to go to now, so we're going to leave it there just for now.
We can talk some more.
We can talk some more. Okay. I'll tell you what. Why don't I go down into the crowd? Why don't I go down into the crowd?
Yes.
Okay. Let's come down here. Let's get this going.
I've got to go in front of you. Oh,
How you doing, Jean-Claude? Welcome to Scotland.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I wanted to ask you, I'm a huge fan. Double Impact 2 with Bolo, is it happening?
Hopefully, but I'm doing a movie called Double Action with two brothers. So no matter what, if we don't have Double Impact, we're doing a film called Double Action. It's a great script. I've been working on it for 6 years now, and it's a great film because I want to do another movie about twins kicking each other's faces. Okay?
That sounds fantastic.
Hating each other and loving each other at the end. So we're in good shape. But I would love Bolo to be in my movie again. He's such a good man.
We have another question down here for you.
Hi, Jean-Claude. How has your martial arts training changed over the years?
You know, not much. What I do a lot, it's a slow motion kick. And this is the most difficult, but this gives you lots of speed and power to do all the kickings in slow motion. So you go like, you know, it's not like, because speed will help you, but when you do slow motion, it works on all the muscles, the buttocks, the side muscle, the abs, and slow motion kick are the best to do, like slow motion, and then you go like thunder. Wow, go fast. Yeah.
We have another one for you here, Jean-Claude.
Hi, Jean-Claude, how you doing? I've read all the years of your actual movies and that. It's sort of a double question sort of thing. Which one have you been most proud of the outcome of, and also which film have you enjoyed the most working on?
Well, it goes with the age, you know. It's like when you're young, you like those movies like Kickboxer, Bloodsport, Double Impact. But I've done a movie that I don't think so. I mean, Amazon did a show called Jean-Claude Van Damme. You like it? I play so many characters, so I enjoy that too, the acting side of it. But to be honest with you, I'm going to go back to do two big martial art films. One Double Action, and one is being called right now The Tower, but we'll change the name for sure. It's about a guy who goes into coma and then you wake up, and it's a great story. Again, many years of writing. You know, when I write my script like Lionheart and The Quest, when you write a script, you leave not only you leave the character, but you leave every character. You go into the scene, into the mind of every character. So when you start shooting, you know exactly what to do, and that's why Lionheart, Double Impact, all those movies, Bloodsport, are so good because you leave them before shooting them. Am I speaking too fast?
No, I think everybody here loves all of your movies. Ladies and gentlemen, he's got to go off, he's got photo shoots to do. Please give a massive round of applause. What a legend.
Okay. And one more thing, guys. I thank you so much for all those years of following me, supporting me. I will not be the guy I am today without you guys. So thank you so much for this.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Once again, Claude van